Hunter Biden Gate, much like Russia Gate or Obama Gate, has many, many layers. Most people are familiar with Hunter's payments from a Ukrainian energy company, Burisma. That certainly was bad, but honestly, for those familiar with his sketchy business dealings, it barely scratched the surface. Hunter has millions of dollars in dealings that he still needs to answer for from Russian, Romanian, and most importantly, Chinese businessmen. The Chinese dealings in particular have deep links both to the government and they remain very understudied by the press. The Chinese deals came into focus in recent months after Republicans retook control of Congress, and they began their investigation into Hunter Biden and their possible links to the current president. One of those inquiries into China relied on a whistleblower named Gal Luft. He is a dual U.S.-Israeli citizen. According to Luft, he was previously contacted by the Department of Justice in March of 2019, and he detailed his knowledge of the Biden family's deep financial ties to China. Here is the story he told in his own words.
My ordeal goes back to a fatal decision I made in March of 2019 to share with the US government my knowledge about the Biden family's relations with CEFC. Over an intensive two-day meeting, I shared my information about the Biden family's financial transactions with CEFC, including specific dollar figures. I also provided the name of Rob Walker, who later became known as Hunter Biden's bagman. Finally, in February this year, I was arrested in Cyprus on an extradition request from the Southern District of New York, the very same office that met with me in Brussels. The 7-count indictment said I violated the Arms Export Control Act, and if I convicted, I would face up to 100 years in prison.
Okay, so he contacted them in March of 2019. A bunch of FBI agents met with him. Nothing happened. So then what? As he continues to detail, after he contacted the DOJ and the FBI to detail his knowledge of Biden ties to China, they ignore him. A few years later, after attention again is sparked into these allegations, he is suddenly indicted by the Department of Justice. That indictment, which became public on Monday, alleges that he evaded registering as a foreign agent in the United States while working to advance the interests of the Chinese government in the U.S. and seeking specifically to broker the sales of Chinese weapons and Iranian oil. The charges against him total nearly 100 years in prison, as he said, if convicted, and they detail a very serious breach of the law. But it does leave us with a few questions. Number one is this true? And number two, why is this happening now? Let's focus in on the second part of that question and also untangle some of the details. One of the charges against Luft is based upon a donation to his think tank by CEFC, that is a Chinese energy company, from 2015. Now, the money was given to that think tank in an effort to recruit a former CIA director to make statements beneficial to the interests of China. Shady and gross stuff, to be sure. But what they are not telling you is that the CEFC is the exact same company paid Hunter Biden $5 million between August 2017 and May of 2018. Great work if you can get it right. What exactly did Hunter get paid all this money for? It's not actually clear. Millions of dollars, though, to represent this Chinese energy company's interest in the U.S., and $1 million even more to provide legal services to the very Chinese go-between that the DOJ says Luft was working with, who was a Chinese spy. So in other words, if Gal Luft is an unregistered Chinese agent, Hunter Biden sure as hell looks like one too. And the timeline of almost everything matches up. If anything, actually, it vindicates much of Luft was saying. And I guess it takes one unregistered foreign agent to know another one. As my friend Chuck Ross over at the Washington Free Beacon notes, the initial contacts to both of these individuals was made in 2015. That is when the first donation actually happened to Hunter Biden's linked charity, and it is when the first payment to Luft was made. In fact, both Luft and Hunter both appear to have had knowledge pretty soon afterwards that the people they were dealing with were no ordinary Chinese businessmen. Hunter himself, in a text message in 2017, specifically said he wanted to avoid registering as a foreign agent as part of his deal with the CEFC. Now, for those who are familiar, this is where the character Tony Bobulinski also comes in and relates to this entire saga. Bobulinski, of course, came forward after the release of the Hunter Biden laptop and alleged that he specifically met with Joe Biden in May of 2017 regarding this exact Chinese energy company deal, and that Hunter himself laid out the, quote, 10% for the big guy being Joe Biden. So upon closer inspection, the headline the Department of Justice sought in trying to make this all go away is not close to reality. The reality, though, is that Hunter Biden, whistleblower, has been revealed as a Chinese spy. It is also, though, the Department of Justice has confirmed that the company which paid Hunter some $6 million is now confirmed as an agent possibly of China, and that the same behavior that the whistleblower was now indicted for is the same stuff that Hunter Biden was doing. That the company in question here, at the least, is alleged by this whistleblower to have been directly financially connected to the President of the United States. And I understand this can all seem complicated, but it's not. Even the government now admits, effectively, that the company is a Chinese spy front, and they paid the Biden family. Plain and simple. The only question now is, did he get a piece of that as president or not? This too vindicates the previous text message revealed by the House committee. IRS whistleblower Gary Shapley specifically noted that a previous search warrant uncovered this infamous text message by Hunter to the very Chinese energy company, threatening action if he was not paid. It invokes how his father was sitting right next to him. So look, now it's actually all coming together. The shocking part is that upon investigation, it actually looks even more clear that Hunter and possibly Joe got into some very sketchy stuff with this Chinese energy company. But don't expect the media to actually tell you the truth about the case. So, Crystal, that's my investigation, as I said.
Hey guys, if you like that video, go to breakingpoints.com, become a premium subscriber, and help us build the best independent media organization on the planet.
That's right. We're subscriber funded. We're building something new. We want to replace these failing mainstream media organizations.
So again, to subscribe, it's breakingpoints.com.